Hello, I hope you're having a wonderful day. This is our property across the street from our house, and I am loving the fall colors and the weather and everything. It is just so beautiful. And we even still have a few wildflowers out on our land, so we did a packet that we sprinkled all over our land, and it was mostly zinnias, marigolds, and cosmos that came up, and they are still blooming. Today's video's focus is on, once again, getting organized. I recently found a book called Organizing for the Creative Person, which I recently shared with you all. I can't recommend it because I haven't finished it, but I'm 2 chapters in, and it already has really inspired me with getting organized for the purpose of being able to do the things that you really want to do. In the first few chapters helps you decide what are the things that you do really want to do. For me, I want to have space to be creative, and so that is my goal and motivation for getting organized, especially this fall going into winter. I do want to be able to make time for doing the cozy, creative things that I really want to do, that sometimes I feel that I'm distracted by doing other things. And so I want to create systems in our home to where I can keep things organized. We've lived here now for 2 years, and I've never used this little nook above the microwave. We've contemplated getting rid of this whole section of cabinets because the opposite side of the wall, we are getting rid of all of those cabinets and doing open cabinets. But I think it's nice to have some space that is closed in as far as upper cabinets go. So we are going to leave these, even though we don't use the microwave at all. Still going to leave that there because it does have a vent to the outside on it. And then we're just going to replace the glass panels with cane that I recently found at Hobby Lobby. I didn't even know Hobby Lobby sold this cane roll, but I thought that I want cane in these, and so I was looking online for places that sell them. It's quite expensive, so when I was in Hobby Lobby the one day, I just decided to look at their wood section, and they had some there. So that was exciting. So to make use of this top shelf, I ended up taking out that beautiful edging. I really liked it, but it made this space not functional. And after taking it out, where that edging was, I don't think it's ever been able to be deep cleaned, and so it was super sticky and grimy. I once again used my lemon essential oil and used a scraper as well and tried to get up all of that grimy, sticky stuff that I assume has just built up over time from it being right above the oven. At first I had those small spice jars, and I did not like the way they looked up there, and since I already have some spices in these mason jars, I thought that they were perfect. The space is not only pretty, but it is now functional. Okay, I'm doing a little bit of rearranging. So this is the shelf that we've had here, and I don't love it. We just don't have a lot of space for things at the moment until we do our new kitchen cabinets. So our cups have been sitting over here, and I had all of this dishware type of stuff down here, but then I was trying to put our dehydrator in there and it's just too far out, so it's not going to work anyways. So over here we have what I have been holding our spices in. And I also don't love this area because there's just too much clutter over there. And it just so happens these cups fit perfectly on here. All of my cups do. So I think I'm going to move this over there. So I'm going to take all this stuff off of here and move it over there, and we will see how it looks. All right, so this is what we're working with, and I think I like it. Now over here, I've just taken off all of these herb things from there, and this shelf is pretty much useless at the moment. So I think I'm going to put my herbs back on it. And then this ugly shelf, I think I'm gonna slide it up over there. Now, I have had comments before of listeners saying that I shouldn't have my herbs exposed to light and they should be in a dark cabinet or put a piece of fabric over wherever I put the herbs. And I understand that because I know that light makes the nutrients in the herbs go away faster. But for me, I don't have a lot of storage space at all in this house. That being said, this is a very dark area of our house. We live backed into the woods, and so this area, to me, it's unfortunate because it doesn't get a whole lot of sunlight, but it works for this space. And I want to actually use my herbs. If I have all my herbs tucked away into a cabinet, then I am less likely to use them. And that is the whole point of having my herbs, is to be able to use them. A lot of my herbs I do grow myself. Obviously we can't grow everything, but where we can, we do try to grow it ourselves. And the reason is because then I know exactly how that herb was cared for, that it wasn't sprayed with anything. For those herbs that we grow, I just don't break them down. I put them in our jars without crushing them up into small pieces, but leaving them in bigger pieces. That way they don't lose their nutrients by breaking it down. Onto the pantry. So this area I love. I love the way it looks. It's pretty, but I had this idea of moving my grain mill over to this area so that way it's right next to my wheat berries. But the only way to do that is to move the shelf because of the outlet on the wall, and the grain mill's plug is very short. That's what motivated me to rearrange. My only concern, I'm currently saving seeds right now, so there's a lot going on over here, but my only concern is the chairs are now not going to be central to this area. Like the window right now, well, it actually isn't in the middle. So maybe if I do move it over, then the two chairs will work, even with it being this way. Well, this is the work in progress. The main reason I even turned this shelf from this way to this way was because the outlet was right here and I wanted to put my grain mill over here. But as I've moved it and I'm processing, the grain mill, this specific grain mill, because it is open, so much flour disperses in the air. And I just think it's going to be awful wiping down every jar over here. And this is not a nicely wipeable top. I love this wood primitive shelf, but to wipe it down after every use of milling flour, I just don't think that's going to work. Whereas the kitchen counter, where this is currently, I think that's going to be the best option. So I'm going to put this back, but I still think I'm going to try leaving it sideways. And while I'm at it, I might as well refill whatever containers that I can. I try to keep my bulk food pantry stocked up, but any item that I get from Azure in bulk, if it doesn't fit in my glass jar, I'll just roll it up, put some clothespins on it, and I have a cabinet next to the refrigerator that I use for my overflow bulk stuff. That does not include the 50-pound bag or 25-pound bag items. Those items get put into buckets with nice lids and they get put into the guest bedroom closet. So this is just for the 5-pound bag stuff like sesame seeds or coconut. And thank you to everyone who has used my Azure referral link. It really is such a blessing, and I have the link and a coupon code below if you're interested. On to the next project. So I've been wanting to find chairs for our breakfast nook area, and when I was in Restore, I saw these 2 chairs. They were marked $10 each, but when I got to the register, she said they were $5 each, and I was pumped because I've done reupholstery once. Our home in South Africa has chairs that are quite similar to this style, so it gave me confidence that this is something that I can do. And if I didn't like it, if they didn't look good in that space, then I could always resell it because these cane back chairs always sell for a lot of money. The cushions really grossed me out, honestly. This whole project stayed outside until it was finished. Thankfully, we had no rain during that time. The legs of the chairs had a lot of scratches on them. Otherwise, I probably would have just left it the way it was, but because it was quite scratched up, I bought some matte gold spray paint that made it look like brass, and spray paint is expensive these days. It was $10 for a can, and thankfully one can stretched the whole project. And notice how the cane is going to tie in with the cane of the kitchen cabinets. This is the part that took the most time, was getting the fabric off of the chipboard base, and obviously the pliers didn't work. The small pliers did not work, but a little tiny screwdriver and using the pliers to hammer underneath the staples worked. It just took a lot of time. Originally, when I saw these chairs, I was thinking leather for the cushion base, and I think that would have looked really pretty, but when I went to Hobby Lobby to see what the pleather color options were, I ended up seeing this cow print, and it's polyester fabric, but the cow print fabric looked so real to me, and it immediately reminded me of South Africa. There are these Nguni cows that are so beautiful, and every part of our home, I always wanted to feel very sentimental, meaningful. And so I thought, you know what, let's bring that aspect into our home. I don't know if it will go with our style, but I am going to try it. Also, again, tying in the sentimental values, Scott's grandma had a dairy farm on their family property, and the house that we have there was actually the old dairy that was then turned into a house. So again, just the meaning of it. Here is that cow print. I loved it. I took a picture of it to see if Scott liked it. He did, so we decided to go with it, and I only needed 1 yard, so the fabric cost me $9, and then I got these foam pieces, which I later had to return and get the bigger size. I decided to sand down these chipboard seat bases, and it was so funny when I was doing this. I think the noise that I was making when I was sanding sounded like this bird's call, because you'll listen to it in this video. It was so funny. I don't know what type of bird it was, but it was sitting on the bush right next to me, chirping at me the entire time I was doing this. So with most things in life, I like to wing it, and so nothing about this is going to be perfect or done in an expert way, but I just use the materials that I have as much as I possibly can. So instead of buying the spray adhesive glue, I used this glue that I already have from the label. It looked like it would work for this project. I didn't feel like going out and spending any more money than necessary to get this project done. I am pleased. They are very comfortable to sit in. I still don't totally know if they go with our style, but I'm gonna make it work because I like them. All in, the materials for this project cost me $41, and then with the 2 chairs, that was $10. So it was $51 for these 2 chairs. I hope you've enjoyed this organization homemaking video, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day.